how sweet it is to be loved by you nerds. What's up? It's me, your buddy pal HeyArcher. Welcome back to HeyArcher Live. I have a new turning chair. I'm all over the place here on Nerd Affiliated. I was just waiting for Hobbies with Jose. I was just sitting here. I was just watching the chat. You guys were talking to each other. I'm like, where's Jose? Where's Jose? And then he popped up. So then, boom, I could start. Then I could start. This is your weekly Thursday night show where we sit back, relax. I said we sit back, relax, and hopefully you can pour yourself just a little bit of and we shoot the shit. We hang out, shoot the breeze, have a good time. If you've got a YouTube channel, podcast, blog, vlog, OnlyFans, newsletter, smoke signals, whatever it may be, put it in the chat, support one another, plug yo shit. I'm excited today. Something arrived. Unexpected. Shout out to Steve. He's the one that was like, hey, did you get a notification about something? I was like, what are you talking about? And all of a sudden, I got some tracking and something made its way to us here. And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So hopefully you guys tonight can help me figure out what we're supposed to do here. You'll know what I mean when you see it. This is usually where I say the plugs and plug your shit, but I already did that. So we're good to go from there. I forgot to update the link on the website if you want to join, if you're a member. So I'll throw it in the stream here. But without further ado, bring in the man, the myth, the legend. Me. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. So as a little reminder there, normally for all the channel members, if you go into the membership page and you click on, there's a like button there, you can join the stream if you like. That's a member benefit. But I don't think I've updated the link because I think I updated the eCam link. So if you want to join, in the chat is a link now you can click to jump on. Otherwise, normally for you members, if you just go into the membership page, you can just click the link there. So little housekeeping there for all of you. Happy to be here with all of you as per usual because you guys are awesome. And, you know, because of that, just one more time. I said just one more time. Pour yourselves just, in case you didn't do it the first time, a little bit of...
More specifically, vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
So I'm going to keep you guys in suspense for a little bit longer. A little bit. Dave's Dimension in the house. Good to see you. You're the first on my eCam, but it looks like on the app, it looks like Hobbies was actually the first one. Let's see. It was Hobbies. All right, so I made you guys wait for no reason. Just kidding. I was setting up the camera. Aaron Waller, good to see you. As I mentioned, Hobbies with Jose. The casual nerd himself, Josh in the house. Good to see you. That's right. Flashing alert. Oh, it's the head of the table. HeyArcher. Shout out to you, T3 Collects in the house. Marsha in the house. Good to see you. Of course, that means JB's in the house too. I love that it's a whole family event. The whole family checking in at the same time. I can dig it. Millennium Workshop in the house. Good to see ya. Hey, yo. Louie in the house. Good to see ya. That was my best Razor impression. And of course, Patrick in the house. Always appreciate you here. Always appreciate all of you who come by every week. And if you've not done so, make sure you smash that like button. We got almost 20 viewers, only 6 likes. We gotta up those numbers. Those are rookie numbers right there. But you can also, in the meantime, Rolando, where have you been in the house? Good to see you. And wow, the living legend himself, Mr. Robert Page, the 2 best members of Led Zeppelin in the house. Good to see you. Welcome to a live show. In case all of you have not done so, I'm sure you have, but in case you've not done so, Steve in the house too? I thought he was here before, but I must have forgotten. Or must have just, I willed it. I wanted you to be here, so I assumed you were here, but I realized I didn't see you here before. Either way. So that link is for everybody. Today's link is for everybody. So if you want to jump on, by all means, feel free. I'm not going to kick you out if you're not a member. But the link that will be in the members page is for members only. But that one's not updated. If you click it now, I don't know where it's going to take you. Actually, if one of you members wants to click on that link in the member page right now, let me know where you go. Is there a random live stream right now happening that you guys are going to end up at? It'd be like chat roulette. Shout out to those of you who know what chat roulette is. And if you don't know, don't look it up. But what you should look up is nerdaffiliated.com and, of course, Nerd Affiliated here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. You can find links to all our shows. Of course, links to the latest videos. Anthony just dropped a review for Gotham War, so make sure you check that out. As I mentioned, nerdaffiliated.com. Links for all of that. Something on the screen here is giving you a clue as to what may have arrived today. Continuing on, the new Instagram page, The Real Nerd Busters, for all you Busters out there, Ghostbusters fans, but Busters too. Why not? You can join on there. Sure, why not? And then, of course, the homepage, the main one, Nerd Affiliated on Instagram. But speaking of Busters, he ain't no buster, but he'll bust those ghosts. Ladies and gents, freaks and geeks, nerds and nerdettes, first time on the show, first time caller, not first time listener. We have the living legend himself, Dave's Dimension, in the house.
Hey, what's up?
Imagine if it was somebody else I brought on first.
I'm like, living legend, who?
Look at that. First time on the show. I'm so excited.
Excuse the mess.
Have you not seen?
Well, I think I have a bigger mess than you do. So
if I start turning the camera, it gets pretty sloppy out there.
Yeah.
What's going on, man?
So,
Good to see you.
A lot of stuff going on. I mean, that Luke is just fire, man.
I tell you, shout out to all of you who organized that charity.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for choosing me.
I mean, that was Colin. That was EC Collecting. That was his baby. He's in a collector safe space chat with me, Dre, and a whole host of others.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought it to Dre's attention. Dre brought it to me. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So
yeah,
and people came out for it. There's so many prizes were given out. It was insane. It was a great cause.
Mm-hmm.
And you got your hot toy cherry broke. So
it was quite intense. It was quite intense there. Let me
that
bring
was
you
the
on
one that
first
came
here.
with Grogu too. So
yeah. So it's funny, at work today, I was actually looking it up and I was like, how much does this go for normally? Oh, I got to sign it. I'm not signing it. You guys can find it, Book of Archer.
It's not cheap.
It's pricey.
Yeah.
So I'm like forever in debt to.
Well, I mean, it covers the original trilogy.
Yep.
It covers Mando.
Yep.
So I mean, it covers the gambit right there.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think it's a pretty good likeness of Luke.
I was afraid before I unboxed it. I was
were you afraid it was going to be a CGI like they did at the end of Mando?
Exactly. I was like, no. I was like, I'm gonna want this to be the Mark Hamill face, not a CGI of Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
and they
I
nailed it.
mean, yeah, it looks great, and you know,
Yeah.
I remember I had won a hot toy. At
Mhm.
one point, I had three, but
Mhm.
financial issues last year, kind of put me to the point where I had to, let them go.
You had to offload a
Wasn't
little
easy.
bit. Mhm.
Um, First one I ever had was Spidey 2099.
Ooh, yeah.
That was a great one. And then at a later point in time, I actually got my hands on a used cap and game.
The Endgame one, yeah, I saw that. You almost got me
And
on that one. You almost
yeah,
got me on that one.
hey, and the other one I had was the Flash from CW.
Yeah, Grant Gustin.
That was the last one I sold because that one actually, for a lot of personal reasons, growing up as a kid, the Flash just was kind of like, you know,
Yeah,
it was my jam. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean the hot toys. I mean, first time you get a hot toy, I mean, not even taking the body out, taking the head out, looking at the way the eyes and the
yeah,
amount of detail on some of them, you can see the pores of the skin.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, it is. I mean, you hear people, oh, well, they're, oh, it's a $300, $350. They're worth it. They
yeah,
are worth it at times. The prices have gone up a little bit here and there, but the accessories, the amount of accessories you get in a 1/6 scale figure
yeah,
is just intense.
yeah.
Like you get like there, you got the full shield, you get the crack shield.
You do not get the apple, by the way, in case anybody was
No,
wondering.
no.
I was disappointed when I opened the box. There's no apple in there.
It's like what? Yeah, Luke, there's no blue milk that came with this? Come on.
Exactly.
But yeah, just the amount of details that come in. I mean, the stitching on the fabric.
Yeah,
Like, forget like a lot of people when they think fabric, they're soft goods. They're thinking like Migo or things along those lines where you can see the obvious stitching. And by the
right.
way, I did pick up the Ghostbuster set for 1999.
You
I'd be a
did,
fool
yeah,
if I didn't.
yeah, yeah,
So, I mean, hell, a $60 set for 20 bucks? Yeah.
yeah. Why not?
I'll do that. A third of the price? Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Although
No,
I
but
already see people trying to flip them for 60 and 70
oh, of
bucks.
course, of course.
I saw a store selling it for 80 bucks.
Yeah, but no,
I'm
I
like,
mean,
okay,
to your
you know,
point on the stitching front, I mean, it feels
yeah,
like these are things made for the movie. It doesn't feel like
yeah.
toy
I
stitching.
mean, it looks. I mean, it looks and feels like like someone shrunk down like a actual costume
Yeah, yeah,
and
exactly.
threw him on these. I mean, you look at the bet. Yes, and he did have America's ass. Yes, he did. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm glad that I was like, as soon as when we were doing the actual stream,
Yep.
I knew that one. I thought the Luke Skywalker hot toy would be like the first thing picked, but it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, because the other ones
And
had a bunch of figures like a McFarlane pack, a
yeah,
NECA pack, and to
yep,
Colin's point, I already had a lot of the stuff that was in the various packages. But I was like,
yeah.
I've not pulled the trigger on a hot toy, so I was like, I gotta,
And
you
see,
know,
you got a hot
determine
toy without having to pay the price of a
without
hot
having
toy.
to pay
See,
for it.
that's even better.
Yeah.
How did Mrs. Affiliated like it?
um, she thought it was all right. I mean, I showed it to her the other day, and she's like, yeah. Um,
I mean,
but knowing that I didn't pay
was
for
she
it helps.
cool? You want something like that's pretty awesome, you know?
If it was like Jean-Luc Picard, then maybe I would get a better
Oh,
reaction.
she's like that. See,
Mhm.
over the holidays, a good friend of mine had a uh, Patrick Stewart, his latest book, but an
Mhm.
autographed version of it,
Mm.
and she is a Star Trek Next Generation fan.
Yeah.
And I got her the book. She's like, "I thought this is the book you want." I said, "Keep going through the pages."
Mhm.
I was like, "That's his signature." She's like,
Mm.
"Yeah." She was blown
Yeah.
away. So yeah,
Yeah.
they do make a 1/6 scale Picard though.
They do. I'm struggling. I'm
It's
fighting the
it's not the
urge.
hot toy prices though,
Yeah. Yeah.
because then once you get your wife one, you can
It,
legitimize. Okay, I got you one. Now it's my turn to get myself another one.
I gotta go one hobby at a time. I already got the cosplay thing. I'm trying to push here. You're wearing a shirt right now similar to what I'm trying to push.
Uh,
Uh,
Actually, a couple years ago, this is in the Ghostbusters community. Just a guy who he wanted to do a run of shirts. He did khaki, gray, and
Mhm.
black. So this actually has my actual name. I have another
Yep.
shirt like this that
Oh,
actually says
sorry. I
McFly.
I blocked it. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, it has my actual name, but I have another one that says McFly
Mhm.
because my first cosplay was a Ghostbusters Back to the Future mashup,
Yep.
and this does have got the GB logo on the sleeve, so it's kind of like Ghostbuster casual.
Yep. Yep.
If he ever does another run, I will be buying a lot more. This is actually, geez, 4 years old.
Wow.
Holds up, pretty good
No, and
quality.
it's like you said, it's a good kind of just casual thing because it has the patch on the arm, just like you
Yep.
normally have on your chest, your
Yep.
name badge, like you normally would have. So
Hmm.
that's a good pickup. But you
Yeah.
said something a little while ago that this is the dilemma I'm in right now. You said the word autograph, and I
Yes.
mentioned that I have something that arrived in the mail, and I'm not
Is
sure
it
what else.
autograph related?
It's autograph related.
Ooh.
It's also related to Louis, Anthony, Patrick, and Steve, who are all in the chat right now.
Okay.
And the final hint, of course, was the music I played for the Instagram story posts for today. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have.
Oh, you
Yeah.
dirty mother. Oh
Hang
my
on.
god.
Let me make sure I can add you on. I always mess this up. Let's see. How do
I see you get
and
the
then
Slimer bottle there. Very nice.
I do. I do. So let me go here, then here, maybe? I always mess this
Now,
one up whenever it's a
is that
guest.
now it says ultimate on there. Is that like a special NECA or is that something else?
It is a NECA one.
Okay.
There we go. So now we're
Yeah,
both on there.
that's the one I need to get because I have all the previous RoboCops that the NECA did. I have
Mm-hmm.
Ed 209, I have RoboCop in his chair, and I have the damaged RoboCop.
Exactly. So I
So
actually
this
sold my regular one because I
okay.
got the damaged one, and that's the one I would have wanted from the jump, but that
Well,
wasn't
my
like
regular one kind
announced.
of broke on the back. You know how he's got
Yeah.
that little what would you call it, like a actuator or something, that little
Mm-hmm.
suspension on the back of that little hydraulic on the back of his leg
Yeah.
that broke off very easy.
Yeah. No. It that figure has some issues. It has some
Yeah.
issues. But yeah, it arrived, and this was the figure to Steve and myself, Patrick, everybody there. This was the figure of Comic-Con, New York City Comic-Con for us.
I mean, when did you first watch RoboCop? I saw it at the drive-in as a kid.
You got me beat.
Oh,
I think we can all agree all of us were probably too young to have seen RoboCop when we actually saw RoboCop.
well, you probably all the guys in your group are probably a lot younger than I am. I mean, I'm 45.
We're all close.
Yeah,
You're within the 10-year.
but like I remember my dad had taken us to drive-in,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I was already watching horror movies. I mean, those were my bedtime stories.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So swearing and full frontal nudity, that was the thing I was exposed to ever since I was a kid. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
but
But it's
but
it's
like
one of those
this
where they
was one of
still
the
had
most
kid toys. They had
yeah
kid toys
this
out
was
there
one
like
of
pushing it.
well, I loved RoboCop because I remember watching the cartoons,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was like in the I want to say late 90s, there was a limited run, like a one season run on Canadian television. There was a Toronto produced show of RoboCop,
Oh
and you
wow.
could
I
still
forgot
find
about that.
episodes of it. You can still find it on streaming services.
I
There
forgot
was
about
even
that.
a 4-part miniseries called Prime Directives, which is like kind of like old man RoboCop,
Yeah.
where like his son is grown up and now an executive, like a junior executive at OCP and all this other stuff. So if you're a big RoboCop fan, you definitely check it out. I think Amazon Prime has Prime Directives. It's like straight to video kind of quality.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, I
I'm,
forgot all about this. Shout
yeah.
out to you on that one. It's rare that there's like a throwback show that I completely forgot about.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
That's
it
one
was
right
kind of
there.
like cheesily written, but you know, it's if you're a RoboCop fan, you'll get a kick out of it. Like they do the little commercials, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, RoboCop even gets Andrea Roth right there.
Yep.
She's killed off in the first episode, but she is like uploaded as an AI, so she's like kind of like a an assistant, like an ally to
Mm.
Robo during the series.
Cortana, if you would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but a hot one. Yeah, that I mean, it's a guilty pleasure show. I mean, if you're a RoboCop fan, you definitely should check that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have not seen him on shelves just yet,
It's not.
but he's definitely one I want to get because I mean, I saw the pictures.
Yeah.
It looks just, no pun intended, bloody marvelous.
Yeah. Well, let's go into, what you're getting here. So the packaging, to my understanding, is going to be the same if you guys see it in stores. I'm guessing this will be Target because that's usually where a lot of these NECA figures end up. Occasionally they'll end up in
Wally World.
exactly, usually the Turtles especially, but now more and more stuff is ending up there. But either way, this box should be the same. You get his badge number on the bottom, Ultimate Alex Murphy. You get a picture of him on the side, and then you get all the options.
That's a real good likeness, though.
On the back. Oh yeah, for sure. So the dilemma, if you pre-ordered this, in the very back, there's a badge, the Alex Murphy badge, signed by the actor. Right there. So that's where, ladies and gentlemen, we run into our dilemma. I want to open this for the sake of the culture, for the community.
I mean, you could leave it in there. And you could technically pull the tray out and take a look at everything and leave that in there, hypothetically.
Right.
Now, everyone knows anyone who knows me knows I'm notorious for letting them breathe.
Exactly.
However, signs.
But let me ask you a question here. Let me ask you, so here's the thing. Usually when it comes to signed things, right, you'll give the actor the item sealed so they could sign it, and then that inherently creates the value.
Or the box, because I mean, if you're traveling, you're probably gonna take the box and not, just in case something is lost, you're not losing the figure, you're just losing the box.
But I already have the autograph. Now I have the autograph. So it's like, I'm not going to take this, get it autographed again. Right.
Yeah.
Or do I do I double autograph?
I mean, well, here's the thing. You said it's a badge that's in there.
Yeah.
You could display the badge you ever see like those coin frames?
Yeah.
I mean, you could, encase it or get like a little plexiglass thing and display the badge right there.
Yeah.
And get the box autographed.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, personally, if I was going to do an autograph, I would do it on the, how the flap opens up.
Oh, on
the inside
here, over there.
Have them sign like right there.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
But how often does Weller go to cons and do autograph signings? I mean, he is.
That's what I'm saying.
Or so I say, Dr. Weller.
Yes.
Because he is a college professor.
So right now, everybody's leaning towards what most of us would probably say. We would leave it sealed. Gotta buy two, right? Shout out to Dada Films, by the way. I don't think I said hello to you. I don't think I said hello to Marvelous Wrestling. Good to see you, Marv.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an out of boxer, but if I had that, I would probably keep it sealed. Because it is the one item in there is the autographed item. However, keeping everything else kind of pristine with it, I would think kind of adds value to the overall item itself.
Right. So, next stage of the debate, right? I'm not trying to sell this.
No.
Right now behind me, I have a couple items with JDF signatures on it. Obviously, before he passed. All of them are breathing. They're hanging on the wall, displayed. So that's where I'm like, I would never sell those things. I'm glad I got them autographed. Could I encase them to preserve the autograph and all of that? Sure. But I'm not going to offload any of that stuff. So when it comes to this Murphy here, Like, and actually, I should be realistic here. I probably wouldn't pay for an autograph, like in all honesty, because
Yeah.
it's probably going to cost like $100 for an autograph. The way that it's been
I
going
mean,
at Comic Cons.
especially since he's back in popularity since the RoboCop video game.
Yep.
There's rumblings. I don't know where it is at the stage right now, but there's talk about bringing back like doing a true old man Murphy,
Mm,
like to do a true sequel to the original series,
yeah.
the original movies. Kind of I know a lot of people hate on the rebooted RoboCop.
Hmm.
I actually, it's kind of a guilty pleasure. I'll still watch that movie.
It is not the worst thing. It
No,
is
no,
not the
it's
worst
it's
thing.
it's not Eternals. Uh,
Wait,
sorry,
T3's gonna.
T3.
Yeah, he's about to smash his computer right now.
But I mean, it's just like you grow up with something, and then someone does like a new version of it. A lot of people are rubbed differently.
Right.
And, and I mean, I thought it was I thought it was hilarious that you got like Sam Jackson playing like a Bill O'Reilly kind of character.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I thought it was an interesting approach. I mean, I loved the actors. I mean, Michael Keaton in there, and just you had a lot of good people in there. I just
Yeah.
think it was approached uh, a little off on a weird angle, but yeah, I mean, that's awesome that you got the autograph, though, man. That's
Yeah. I think too, changing the suit may have been an issue. Like, I get
well,
the whole reboot
well,
concepts. We
they
all
have a blink and you'll miss it of the original suit.
in the movie, really.
In the movie, like in Michael Keaton's office, you see like these displays of suits, like different
Hmm.
kind of armored, and you see the original RoboCop suit.
Oh.
So, and they're doing some CGI, some simulations showing like uh, some approaches to the armor, and they have a different variation of that, where
Yeah.
they mention like he's a transformer.
Yeah.
Um, so they have a few kind of nods to the the premise of it, and you don't see him wearing the actual regular chrome or unpainted version until like the end of the movie. But I thought it was a pretty it was a good I think it was a good attempt at updates.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Gary Oldman, by the way. Man's fucking goat. I was just
He
watching him in Rise of
Name one
the
movie that
Planet of the Apes,
is
I think.
crap that he's been in.
He's got range.
I mean,
Does not get
Fifth
talked about
Element,
enough.
when he does kind of a southern kind of accent when he's talking like
Yep.
this.
Yep.
um I mean, Bram Stoker's Jack. I mean, Air Force One, the guy's taking on everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. This is so this movie, it's similar reaction, I feel like, by the fan base to Judge Dredd, the reboot of that, where it's like it's not like a bad film. It just
Well, I mean,
didn't perform very well, because it's like when you tell a casual person, here's this movie, and it's not similar to the previous one, it throws them
yeah.
off. It really
Well, I
throws
mean,
people off.
In Judge Dredd's case, in my personal opinion,
Hmm.
the remake was so much better.
Oh, yeah. I
They
mean that.
freaking cranked it up to 11.
Yeah.
And I mean, you didn't have, Rob Schneider as the comic side. I mean, you had him as comic sidekick to Stallone.
Yeah.
And I mean, that we all know, of anyone who's read the comics, Dredd doesn't take his helmet off.
Correct.
We don't see Dredd's face. Carl Urban friggin' killed it.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's killing it in The Boys. I mean, he's just
Carl
and
Urban is like, what's the dude's name from Nathan Fillion? Like, Carl Urban's similar to me, like Nathan
he's
Fillion. Like, can do no wrong
Nathan
by
Fillion's
anybody.
my boy. Okay,
Can do no
he's.
wrong.
I first time I saw Fillion was, I think first time I saw him was in Buffy, the later
Yes.
seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He was a
Mhm.
killer priest.
Yep.
And then Firefly, and I mean,
Mhm.
he's. I love him on The Rookie.
Oh yeah, he's
He,
on the show. I forgot
he
about that.
plays a really funny kind of a side character on. You ever saw Santa Clarita Diet?
I've not seen that one.
It came out a few years ago. It was kind of like a dark comedy about this woman is sick and she actually is kind of like a living zombie,
Hmm.
but they're kind of concealing it.
Yeah.
and they live in like a suburb and everything. They're realtors. He plays a rival realtor who she actually feeds on, but they save the head, and he's kind of like this talking head
Mm,
for like a season. It's kind of hilarious.
I love
But yeah,
that.
I mean, he's another good one. I mean, but the funny, like Carl Urban, not to go off on a tangent, but Carl Urban came a long way from Hercules and Xena.
Playing two characters.
No, yeah, he played a bunch of different characters. They
Yeah.
give him dark hair one week and
Yep.
blonde the next. I think he even played like he might play like
He played
Mark
Cupid.
Anthony or Caesar or something in like the Xena show.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. He was just that guy. Like, hey, let's give him some facial hair. Hey, let's make him a ginger. Let's make him a blonde.
Yeah.
It's just it, and hey, it worked. I mean, come on, look. Bruce Campbell was in that show, and he's played
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. No, those are. I was also thinking about the guys from Supernatural. Like they're just people in the nerd community. Henry Cavill, people that like they just do no wrong. Like they're just beloved people that when they're
Well,
in a property or like when they're in a
Supernatural
franchise.
recycled a few actors.
Oh yeah,
A lot
but
of their guest people just kind of like recycled,
yeah,
and I mean they got some big names to appear on that show in small kind of small one off parts.
yeah. Well, because they're not, to Anthony's point there, like these are not douchebags. Like
No,
when they do a property, they try their best to like respect the property, respect the movie or the show or whatever it
I mean
is, and people invite them back for multiple episodes.
I know the movie gets a bad rap, but Doom is actually a guilty pleasure of mine. I
You know,
like him in Doom.
he's not bad in Doom.
I
I'm not
mean
gonna say that's not a bad movie, but he's not
Red
bad
was
in
kind of a different role for him because
Doom.
he's kind of playing the bad guy in there.
Yep.
You know, he just doesn't know any better. Chronicles of Chronicles of Riddick when he was the one soldier that was tasked with hunting him down.
He literally plays the same character in that and in Thor. Like the same person.
Pretty much. Yeah, but with Thor Ragnarok, he had fun with that. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
He had fun with that. What was I going to say? Oh, he killed it as Bones, Dr. McCoy in the
Yes.
in
In Star
in
Trek.
the in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. I mean,
Yeah.
he freaking killed it. I'm like, okay, we're used to him like being this, this big kind of like, and he kind of like it looked like he slimmed down, and
Yeah. He nerded out.
he freaking killed. I mean, if DeForest Kelly was alive, he would have signed off on it
Yeah.
definitely.
No, it's one of those where he like that franchise. I almost hate the fact that J.J. Abrams did it, but then I also like the fact that he did it because we got a new visual interpretation of Star Trek that now
Yeah.
is great on the new shows. Like they kind of copy that style.
Yeah,
But
they updated the bridge and everything.
Right.
They kind of
Right.
updated it without making it look overly cheesy.
Right.
On the new shows, I mean, Strange New Worlds.
Oh, it's amazing.
I
It's
want it to
absolutely amazing.
go. I want that to go on for like 5, 6, 7 years if
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
If they can stretch it out, I mean, I'm a Trekkie from way back.
Yeah.
Started
But
with the original series. I remember watching the cartoon on
mhm,
Nickelodeon. They would run reruns of the old cartoon on Nickelodeon Saturday mornings.
mhm.
I remember, there's not one Star Trek I haven't watched.
Yeah. No,
But
and
like
and
for
they're
me,
and
at first,
most of them are good.
I was a little nervous at first.
For which one? Strange New Worlds or for
No,
JJ?
for JJ
Oh yeah.
Abrams because
Yeah.
I was like I was like, how are you gonna? I always thought like, okay, you should just keep going like either with TNG or Deep Space Nine
Mhm.
or introduce something completely different.
Mhm.
But I'll admit it, he did a damn lens flare aside,
All the lens
excessive
flares.
lens flare aside. It's kind of
Yep.
like it's like Bruckheimer and explosions. Let's be honest.
Yep.
Um, that aside, I mean, Chris Pine was a good Kirk.
Yeah.
I know there's still talk and rumblings about somehow getting them back together. I don't know if that'll happen though. It's been a while since they were all together. So, but I mean, Zachary Quinto. I mean, I knew him as Sylar in Heroes, and like, you're like,
Mhm.
"Hey, he's gonna be Spock,
Yeah.
but he did a pretty good Spock, to be honest.
Do you like him as
Uh,
Spock more or worse than the guy on I
Ethan
know.
Peck kills it. I'm
I mean,
sorry,
he's
Ethan
so
Peck
good,
is just.
so good.
I mean, well, I mean, look at who his family is.
Let's see.
You know who his grandfather was, right?
No, should I?
Did
Hang
you
on.
ever
Let me.
see To Kill a Mockingbird?
Oh, Gregory Peck.
Gregory Peck, yeah, that's his grandkid.
Wow, that's crazy.
Where do you think he gets that voice? I mean, that bassy kind of voice,
Yeah,
that baritone kind of voice right there.
yeah,
That's where he gets it from.
yeah.
So I mean, he comes from from stock, man, right there. Anson Mount kills it.
Oh yeah.
He
I
is a
feel like
great
we need it.
Pike. When
I feel
he
like
came on
he needs.
Discovery,
Oh, I mean the hair. It was just the hair that that did it for everybody. But I feel like he needs another Marvel chance. I feel like making him play from the Inhumans.
I'm sorry, but
Uh,
Bolt, Black Bolt.
Black Bolt. Yeah,
I
not the best
honestly,
choice.
I like the show.
Look at the
I
two
was an Agents of
episodes.
Shield fan, and I actually liked Inhumans. I wanted to see where they would have took it.
Mm,
But the problem is, you throw these shows on ABC, which we knew was owned by Disney even back then.
right.
I mean, I think it would have thrived on maybe a sci-fi channel or something else. I don't
Mm.
think ABC wasn't a destination for sci-fi shows. It never was.
But I feel like there was no love for this going into it. I feel
Yeah,
like this was the part. This was, I know, like buzzword here of hubris. This was like, to me, this was when the hubris
yeah,
of Disney Marvel started to really show its face. Because I'm like, everybody immediately was like, wait, why are you not going with X-Men here? And then, as things go on, we're like, oh, okay, they don't have the rights to X-Men. But they were really like, oh, this is gonna be the shit to be
well,
the X-Men of the Marvel universe. And
they
it's like
they
your
were
main
leveraged.
character doesn't even talk. Like there's
Yeah,
no way you're gonna pull that off.
I mean, well, they were leveraging that Agents of Shield was going to be the tipping point
Yes.
because they introduced the story of Terrigenesis and
Yes.
Inhumans.
Yes.
But the thing was, you weren't getting enough eyes on Agents of Shield to kind of give that springboard to Inhumans.
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely had good quality as far as like the sets
Yeah.
and everything. It's just that some of it just was they could have spent a little bit more money. Let's be honest.
Well, with Inhumans, I think
Um,
it was good at the point where it was a compliment to the Marvel movies. Like that's when
yeah,
it was an enjoyable show. Then they eventually, they would, because for whatever reason they split the two, so it's like
yeah,
they don't even like follow each other. But I think that was like the better formula of TV show and going to the theater, because
yeah,
now you have to watch everything. You can't get away with skipping one of the live action shows.
yeah,
Where here, I mean, my friend Joel, he sold me on Agents of Shield because I would watch it like
yeah.
periodically, but when Winter Soldier came out, he was like, "We have to go watch Winter Soldier," and I was like, "Why?" He was like, "Because Agents of Shield one week was one way, and then the
Uh huh.
following week it flipped because of the events of Winter
Everything.
Soldier."
Yeah. I
And I was like,
mean,
"Oh shit, I got to go watch the movie." And then I went back and watched the show, and I was like, "Holy shit, this was like genius,
yeah,
genius marketing."
and the thing is, when Disney's and Marvel said, "Oh no, that show is not any connect. It doesn't have connection to the Marvel Cinematic Universe."
Yeah.
Then what were your writers doing then?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, you have Coulson coming back, and he's alive. You have Sam Jackson popping up a couple times.
Yep.
You had Sif appear, I think, on two separate episodes
Mm-hmm.
of Marvel's Agents of Shield. I mean, you were carrying the storylines over where, Shield was no more,
Right.
and you
Right.
have by the end of the series, Shield. Spoilers. Uh,
Yeah.
Shield is rebuilt.
Yeah.
We even see a helicarrier by the end of it.
Do
So
they
how
do
can
the?
you
I don't
say?
remember. Do they do the sword thing in Agents of Shield at the end, or they don't go with the sword?
Well, they allude to it because right at
Okay.
the end, Daisy,
Right.
Quake, she is kind of going off because they had after they lost the main ship and they had a retrofit of the jet that they had, the big massive airplane.
Mm-hmm.
They had retrofitted it for space, and it's her, the one guy from Agent Carter.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that had the gimpy leg, but now he doesn't anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They had brought him forward into the future,
Oh.
and he was going to be like her pseudo love interest, and it was them and a bunch of other agents flying off into space. So that would have been the beginnings of Sword,
Right. Right.
but we never saw anything else. And I know a lot of people keep waiting to see if she's going to pop up in the MCU, and I think she would be great
Yeah, but she ain't gonna
because
show up.
she has a pretty good following, and I mean, who knows what'll happen. I mean, honestly, with Deadpool this year, I would love to see kind of an Agents of Shield kind of like Easter egg or jab or something.
I think we're at reboot territory at this point with Marvel. I really think we are. I think they're with all the multiverse stuff, it's getting too messy, too hairy. Like people don't. There are people who won't go to the movies anymore because they're like, oh, I know for a fact that last time I went to go see a movie, I didn't get some of it because I didn't watch that other show. So I'm going to assume going forward, you
Yeah.
have to keep watching everything.
And
Like I'm out.
well, that and going with movie theaters, I think what's killing it is people are like, well, oh, I can just wait 2.5 months and it'll be on
Yeah,
streaming,
yeah,
and they're like, and honestly, there's some movies out there that you just have to watch on the big screen. Let's be honest.
yeah. But it's. I mean, at this
It's
point,
it hurts the wallet.
yeah,
I mean,
time.
we can sit here and do the math, but a lot of us have already done that on our streams and
Yeah,
on our videos. Just for two people go, it's going to be easily almost 50
right,
bucks right there,
right.
because you figured the tickets, and then if you just get a bucket of popcorn and
Yeah.
a water, like my wife
You're a
will get all
masochist if you go
this.
if people who are like, oh,
Yeah,
I go out, I don't get the popcorn when I go to the theater. I'm like, go f
well,
yourself. You
well,
have to.
my wife, now I indoctrinated my wife into Marvel when we were
Mm,
still dating,
mm-hmm,
but now there's a standing rule: if there's a Marvel movie, we have to go to the theaters.
mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
but I mean, it's um, with the multiverse. I think the multiverse, some angles on it could be good, some angles can be bad.
yeah.
Doctor Mom, that's what I call Doctor Strange.
Okay,
Multiverse of Madness, Mom. That was just, it felt like a bit of a hot mess. And I'm
for
I'm
sure.
a big Sam Raimi fan,
Yes.
but I just like
Well,
it
you know
just felt
what's wild about that is watching that movie. I didn't know he'd made it, and as I'm watching, I'm like, man, this is really familiar. Like the humor, the way it just
well,
looks, the cinematography. I'm like,
I
this is
mean,
really familiar. And then I
as
saw
soon as you see Bruce,
afterwards.
Bruce Campbell, you're like, oh,
Yeah,
it's a Raimi movie. But
yeah,
also, like, when you get the Strange possesses the dead Strange's body,
yeah,
I mean, that's full on Evil Dead motions and, like, moving, twitching. That was all like, that's the Deadites from the Evil Dead. So I
yeah,
mean, he basically telegraphed that right there.
yeah.
But let me ask you this: have you heard the rumors about Coleman Domingo
No.
being the new Kang?
Oh, oh.
There's
I,
rumors,
they need to
or
just drop the
I
Kang
mean,
thing. This
yeah,
is their chance to be out
let
of the Kang
let Deadpool
business.
just
Wipe it out.
have Ryan Reynolds film something just like he did at the end of the Deadpool 2, like he's going
Mm-hmm.
through time,
Mm-hmm.
and he kills Ryan Reynolds, have something where like something happens and Kang is just gone now.
Yeah. No more Kang.
No,
It was a
I
bad
mean,
idea going into it because
I'm,
hardcore fans of comic books have a hard time explaining
yeah,
Kang and all the workings of Kang. There's no way they're going to be doing
yeah.
that on live action for a
I
casual
mean,
person.
it's it's gonna suck for Moon Knight moving forward if they do anything moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna suck for, I mean, at the end of Ant-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna suck for that, but I mean, you can explain it away that, just like with time travel, you now have a new timeline.
But but all
So
the thing is, most of what's being created now is forgettable. Like
yeah,
most of it, it's like it was great when we watched it, like some of them, but
hmm
most people are not like, oh, I need to re-sign up for Disney Plus because of this show coming back, and that's what they ultimately care about. Like, will somebody re-sign up or brand new sign up for whatever show? Moon Knight season 2. Sorry to say, people are not going to be like, oh, I'm going to
yeah.
go sign up for Moon Knight. Like, I'm not going to go sign up
I mean,
to watch a new
right
season of
now,
Loki.
Disney is keeping me because they got Doctor Who moving forward.
That's
They
crazy.
they they got the new Who,
That's
so
crazy. I
so
noticed that. Yeah.
so I'm there. I'm
Yeah.
there for that because I'm a big Whovian.
Yep.
Um, but also, I mean, the fact that they're still working on the X-Men 97 sequel series.
Yeah. Yep.
And from the the nostalgic side, we have the 97 Spider-Man animated series. We have all the Spidey animated series. We have all the X-Men stuff there. I mean, Gargoyles. I mean, there's so much that they have in their library for us nerds that, like, maybe we
Yeah.
feel nostalgic. It's a rainy Saturday, don't feel like going doing anything. Hey, I'm gonna put this on and just
Yeah.
binge a bunch.
Yeah.
They have us for that. Mandalorian. I enjoy Mando. I really do,
Hmm.
and I've enjoyed uh all the other Star Wars series. I mean, Ahsoka. I know a lot of people had criticisms about it, but I enjoyed seeing these characters brought to life.
Yeah.
You know, even Ezra Christ, as I like to call him. I mean,
Totally was.
come
He
on,
totally was. Yeah. But
those eyes are a little just too blue. I'm sorry, I'm just
we
saying.
all right.
Uh,
We got to do a whole episode on that. Because you and Dre like the show. I am. We need to do just a dedicated Ahsoka
I
like conversation because
I enjoyed it.
I don't
Yeah,
understand people who like it.
I enjoyed certain aspects of it. One,
Visuals, I'm all in. Visuals, I'm
David
all in.
Tennant was just cracking me up.
Fair.
David Tennant was cracking me up.
Fair.
I knew that we were getting Hayden Christensen back.
Right.
And I love seeing him back as Vader in Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan was a bit of a slow burner at first, let's be honest. It was a bit slow. And some of it just didn't make sense to me.
But so
Bec-
that's but wait, so and that's where I get confused. When somebody likes Ahsoka but doesn't like Kenobi, and I guess I'm a hypocrite because I don't understand the reverse of it. But Kenobi, I loved it all the way through because I was like, oh, it's just cheesy Star Wars stuff. But I felt like it was at least going in a storyline.
what was hard for me was how they wrote Obi-Wan being just completely given up on everything.
They Disneyfied him.
It, you know, I mean, that to me that didn't feel right. That I mean, it's the same argument can be said with the sequel trilogy. That, oh, how can you make Luke this person who is completely cut off from everything, including the Force? I mean, he
Right.
shut himself off from everything. It's the polar opposite of who he was. He was the
Both
beacon
of
of
them.
hope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were the beacons of hope, and it felt just my wife had a hard time trying to watch Obi-Wan because it was a little slow for her.
Yeah.
Me, I'm like, okay, obviously, he's miserable, he's kind of given up, but obviously he's going to turn around. He's Obi-Wan. He has to get to the point where he's this,
Yeah.
but he has to get to the Alec Guinness part at some point.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
well, to Anthony's point there, I was fine with aspects of him being a bum because of he to him, right? And we talked about it when we were doing the reviews of it. To him, everything happening in the galaxy is his fault because he failed Anakin, causing Anakin to do all these things in his mind, at least in his mind. But I think the complaint I had was where he shuts the Force off altogether, and like it takes him 5 out of the 9 episodes or 7 episodes to like learn it again. Almost that's where I was just like, that's a bit of an issue. I think personally, this is the wild hot take here.
mhm.
I think Reva was actually pretty good in the show, with the exception of surviving at the end. She
Yeah.
should have if she would have died at the end of it. It's like, yeah, like sometimes revenge plots aren't going to work out for you. Great,
Yeah.
but her living, I'm like, how many? That was also them changing lightsaber physics. That probably the nerdiest thing I've said all year, and it's only been 4 days. But the fact that lightsabers now like can just be impaled on people or in people, and it doesn't do a damn thing. So I get
Say that to Qui-Gon.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's
Shout out to Star
uh,
Wars Theory. He was trying to make sense of that for the longest time, and he finally gave up.
yeah. Reva she came off kind of like annoying, like that spoiled little rich girl.
Oh, for sure.
That I mean, like, and I s- I wasn't seeing where the story was until they started to unravel it.
Right.
Um, I mean, I actually enjoyed Andor. I thought it was a nice different, a different, Star Wars doesn't just have to be about Skywalkers and,
1000%.
we can have different kinds of stories. I mean, Mando showed us that, you know.
True.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I freaking love seeing Vader and Obi-Wan
Right.
face to face.
Right.
I mean, that was, I mean, come on, that was just amazing. And it did make a lot of sense by the end. Um, Even Book of Boba Fett, I enjoyed it, although, I had my criticisms about it. It was kind of a slow burn for people who weren't expecting what they got.
But I think when we got to the point of Book of Boba Fett and Andor, I was in my mind, I was like, okay, you guys are literally making content that drags on for at least 2 months for the subscription. All of these, if they were standalone movies, would have been far better.
Yeah.
And one of the wildest things I heard was so Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, Obi-Wan. 3 different shows
Hmm.
that were literally one concept for a movie that was supposed to be an Obi-Wan movie. But
I mean,
then that
they could
turned
have done
that
it as, yeah.
but
No, I was gonna say they could have easily done those as 2.5 or 3 hour movies.
this is where the greed comes in. First, you had to make new shows with new characters so that Lucas doesn't get paid off of them. So now enter the Mandalorian, kind of Boba Fett, but not really Boba Fett. Then they were like, all right, we're gonna take this concept of the protecting a child, aka Logan, in space, and we're gonna make this into a TV show. But then they're like, hey, you know what? People really, really want Boba Fett here. Like, we really, really, really want Boba Fett. Show's doing great. Where the fuck's Boba Fett?
Yeah.
Bring in Boba Fett and say we're gonna give him the show. Oh, we already used that script on Mando. We're gonna rush out just some other thing for him. Oh wait, we really need to make this Kenobi show because we're not doing great on the viewings. Oh well, Kenobi was also supposed to be him with a child, but we used that script already. Do it again. Okay, well we'll get him for a movie. Nope, need subscribers. Turn that movie into a TV show. So
Yeah.
3 shows fed off the same one old person with child, so you could pass the torch storyline, father figure thing that were supposed to then be 3 movies, but then out of greed became 3
Yeah. I
shows,
mean, yeah,
and you bomb.
I mean, Book of Boba Fett. Come on, do you really have to say I am Boba Fett?
Yeah,
Every time you meet someone, I am Boba Fett.
but how badass he was in season 2, like when
Oh
he
yeah,
comes out and wipes out all the stormtroopers. What happened to that in the show? In the show, he gets his ass whipped every single
and then
episode.
he has the Mighty Morphin Vespa Rangers.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, these kids in these rich kid outfits
yeah,
on Tatooine,
yeah.
dust and sand everywhere.
Except for on them.
What? How are they paying for their dry clean? That's what I want.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't make sense. And let's be honest. You're forgetting one thing. One of the highlights of
Mm,
of Book of Boba Fett was
mm.
Mando season 2.5
Oh,
when he gets
yeah,
those 2 episodes,
yeah.
and it's like I was wondering, as the writers and the directors, like, yeah, how about like almost right before right at the tail end, we bring Mando in for 2 episodes, just kind of like maybe pull people back in who might have
Hmm.
strayed away.
Yeah. I need the
Uh,
book to be written, no pun intended there. I need the book to be written by whoever leaves Lucasfilm / Disney, saying how those 2 episodes came to be, because there's no way that
yeah.
that wasn't supposed to be part of Mando season 3. No
Mhm.
way that they originally were going to bring back Baby Yoda that early, because like there was no time for them to be apart whatsoever. Like, I want to know the
Yeah.
conversation. I just want to know the conversation. Like, how does that 2 episodes happen? And they determine we're no longer going to separate Mando and Baby Yoda. They're coming back together.
I would laugh my ass off if there's like, how there's like a non compete or certain NDAs
Yep.
that you have to sign. What if it's like, oh wait a minute, oh I have to sign an NDA. Wait, I can't talk about this for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 15 years, 20 years. I'm like, um, honestly, that's why I'm one of those people, and other people in the chat, and even you can look at me sideways. I can't wait for Kathleen Kennedy to be ripped out of Disney completely.
Uh, I don't think anybody disagrees
She
with you. I
needs.
don't think anybody disagrees with you on that one.
I mean, she needs to go. I'm glad that they're taking more power away from her.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Filoni
Favreau.
and Favreau. I mean, they're the freaking caretakers. I mean,
Well,
just
but Favreau's
give them
gone.
full power, huh?
Favreau's gone.
Is he?
He's not in the org chart anymore for Disney.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe he's working on some other stuff. I don't know.
I
But I
don't know.
mean, this is the guy who, I mean, nothing against Feige, but we wouldn't have a Marvel Cinematic Universe if it wasn't for Favreau doing Iron Man.
1000%. But I don't think Disney could even acknowledge that. I don't think Disney
Yeah.
has it in them to even say like, "Oh, because of him, we
Yeah.
are here."
Well, they're a little bit busy right now,
Yeah.
because they're battling the horror movie studios since they're making all the now that the copyrights are kind of open market for Steamboat Willie and so many others.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I heard that story, I was like, they already made the film
Mhm.
knowing that
Yes.
they filmed it. They're just waiting for the actual date so they can release everything and strike while the iron's hot. And
Yeah. They did. Well,
I know
the
there's
big one
people
who's
who are
next.
hating that. People are hating
Oh,
that
for
just like
sure.
they didn't like the Winnie the Pooh. I didn't see that one. There was like
Mhm.
a horror version of Winnie the Pooh. I'm like, why not? I mean, it's an original idea, and all of us are always complaining that Hollywood has no more ideas.
But the next
You know?
big one coming up that people are not talking about, and I'm gonna do more research on it. So best believe I will talk about it at some point. Superman. Superman. I'm not sure if it's
Legacy?
I'm not sure if it's the George Reeves version, the old school Action Comics #1 version with the car. I'm not sure what iteration of Superman it is, but there is a version of Superman coming up where he will the ownership of the copyright will become public domain.
Okay.
That is going to be the motherfucker.
Well,
Cuz
I
now
mean,
you can have Superman in Invincible. You can have Superman in The Boys. Like they can literally take with the S and put him in everything.
well, I mean, who was it? Was it Snyder or who was it that did Bright? Was it Bright Sun?
Bright
Was it
Bright
or Brightburn? I think it was called.
Brightburn, I think, right? Yeah.
I mean that's kind of Superman right there. You know,
Brightburn,
the
yeah.
kid being found and being raised, and he has these powers, and he just
But
starts
now he's
going
going to be now you
medieval.
can name him Kal-El. Now he
Yeah,
can have the actual S. You know? Crazy. Crazy. But
I
before
go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I know that people keep trying to do these petitions to somehow get Netflix to get the rights to the Snyderverse. But I want to say, yeah, that'll never happen. But I don't see Warner Brothers giving up on it unless they really get hard up and say, hey, let's look at actually selling these rights because we'll recoup money that way. I hate to say that, but I could see that potentially happening because I mean they're kind of a sinking ship right now. With Max. I mean, Max has a lot of content on it, but the problem is with Discovery and everything else, and they kind of just they shot themselves in the foot, and it looks like it's just getting worse and worse now.
That in itself is going to be another conversation because they've
Yeah,
already started selling licenses or selling distribution rights on a lot of their stuff. That's why if you go to Netflix, just like old school 2010 Netflix days, Justice League's on there again. Like
yep.
different DC movies are on there again. So
I-
that's
They
great.
they have all like they even have Dune.
Yeah. But I don't but the thing is I
Netflix
don't
has Dune. It's everything.
Snyder, as much as I love BVS, the director's cut,
Uh-huh.
and the rest of the team, I'm the exception, loves Man of Steel. He
Hey,
needs to not touch any more DC stuff, and he's now in the weeds of Netflix, and to me that's scary. I don't need any more Snyder DC. Like, we're good.
yeah, I mean, Man of Steel is a good one. I actually enjoyed it. I liked because they gave us what we didn't get in the original Richard Donner Superman. We see Kal-El build the Fortress of Solitude, tossing the
Mhm.
crystal. We didn't see him like learning how to fly or how he got, we just see Christopher Reeve magically has a suit on and he's
Right.
flying already. I
Right.
mean, Man of Steel showed us him trying to, sum it up to jump higher and higher. We hear the voiceover of oh god, how am I blanking on his name?
Kevin Costner?
Jor-El.
Oh, Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. And I mean, Kevin Costner was great. Kevin Costner, I enjoyed him as Jonathan, and to see the sacrifice, like, keeping your secret. I mean, to me, I thought Man of Steel was great. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a different take on it,
Mhm.
but I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed that. I think that was probably one of the better ones. I'd say that and Wonder Woman are probably the highlights of, the DCEU for the most part.
I think if we can remove Snyder from the Man of Steel script, maybe it's a
Okay.
great film. But I've got issues up and down with Man of Steel, and like I said, I know most people in this space of nerddom love Man of Steel, so I'll go to battle on that to
I
the end
mean,
of time.
for an update, I mean, for doing fresh, they kind of skipped around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in some respects, I guess it could even be slightly compared to Bryan Singer's premiere with X-Men.
Right, right,
It wasn't perfect,
right.
and it was kind of like trying to reinvent the mythology of Superman.
Yeah.
Like they gave us like, oh, this isn't an S, it means hope. So I mean, there's little things that were kind of like, okay,
Oh, for sure.
it's an interesting take on it, but it's um but yeah, I mean, some people I think are good with comic books, some people not so much.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that I'm gonna have to have you back on so we can talk more in detail on all those individual topics. But I think ultimately I'm gonna follow what you guys have said, and I'm gonna keep Murph in box. But what we'll do is I'm gonna play this clip from our trip to Comic-Con so we could see Murph breathing out of the box to see the moment we fell in love with this figure. And maybe this video in itself will get me to open the box. But I think I might be able to hold out. So let's
Sounds like you're
take...
trying to talk yourself into it.
Shut up, Dave. Making dope figures. Dope figures.
Mike Puzo paints all those turtles.
There you go. All of these right here. Oh, yeah. You got it. By the way, we did a drinking game. We did a drinking game for this video, if you watch it, where you got to take a shot every time we get stopped for a picture. Spoiler alert, we exceed the number 9. Bottom, you got the new Monsters wave there. And then, of course, Ernie Reyes Jr. there. Still the 2-pack. That's dope. TBD on this throne. That'd be great. The throne comes out. But, that freaking Professor Jordan, man. Those are some good HUD sculpts. I think last year, our favorite section was NECA. I'm pretty sure we looked at the throne last year.
We literally have we got all the movie stuff. Right?
Yes. Yeah,
we have all the movie stuff already. I don't know if I want to get into
The Last Ronin, yeah.
No, I don't know. That's another wall.
Yeah. Got the Willie Nelson, the Freddie Mercury down there. Oh, dude. Yeah, that's when the pants got a little tight on that scene there.
They got Murphy? Murph! With the shot up bulletproof vest?
Yo!
I don't know who's coming out. Dude!
All right, we just asked, and Murph was just announced. We just missed that. Shot up Murph with the face. Yo. That's great. Dude, Murph. Yeah, that NECA killing it. No pun intended
Yeah.
on that there, but NECA absolutely like
That that NECA booth was intense because I was there the day after you guys
yeah,
and seeing everything. I mean, that Shredder throne
yeah,
is sick. And looking at the last Ronin figures, I mean, it's kind of like tugging like they look so damn good. Like,
yeah,
do I want to go in? I mean, I got the last I have the variants of I have the red last Ronin, I have the regular last Ronin, and the unarmored one. I usually don't go crazy like that, but I had to. But I mean, looking at Murphy here,
yeah,
it's almost it almost makes you think: Do I need two? One to show
yeah,
him he is, and then one where he shot up.
yeah, yeah.
And I mean, if they're doing Murphy, are we gonna get are we gonna get his partner? Are we gonna get Clarence Boddicker and his gang? You know, I mean, they could do the whole line and we would be in.
But this line, I'm glad you said that. That line that you said, I tie that with the dinosaurs line, where I think if you stop where you are, you can take the W. Like because
Yeah,
you're knocking out the main figures that people would want for either. You want Murphy, you want him in human form, you want RoboCop. When it comes to the dinosaur figures, you want Earl, you want Sinclair. You could keep going. You can do the gargoyles thing where you keep going down the line, but at what point do those start to collect
yeah,
dust? Unless let's do a extreme limited line or a limited run
yeah.
on those
I mean,
figures.
Gargoyles, they had great quality, but my problem was
The wings.
the wingspan,
Yeah.
and that's why I stopped at Goliath.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we live in an apartment, so there's limited space, but the wingspans alone, and the fact they're like, oh well, if, 6 months later, oh, if you want you want his folded wings, you have to buy this figure. So I mean,
Yeah.
they know
Yeah.
what they're doing. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for them to finish up Back to the Future. There are still a bunch of figures that they have yet to finish up on that, and that's been kind of like up in the air for a long while now, almost a year or
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
But that neck is set up. I mean, like even the Universal monsters, like they have the wolf. Was a wolf Raff?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't gone in on those, but they look so good that they kind of make. I mean, and at first, a lot of people thought that really wasn't going to be a big line, and people have gone insane for those.
It's one of the only lines of NECA that when I go to the stores week after week,
Yeah,
those deplete and eventually sell out.
yeah. I mean, certain horror ones will,
Mm-hmm.
but other ones, you still see some of the usuals. Like I've been seeing the Thing, Kurt Russell Thing
Right. Right.
figure has been kind of peg warming,
And that's a
which is
shame because
kind of
that's a
crazy.
really good figure.
It is.
But they also did too many of Kurt Russell, I think. Like right away. They were like, here's regular Kurt Russell.
Well, I
Here's
mean,
Outpost version Kurt Russell.
they kind of
Here's
did that with
Ultimate, whatever.
Michael J. Fox for Marty.
Yeah,
I mean,
all
the
of yeah,
Martys were peg warming for a good minute.
hot
They
minute.
weren't
Yeah.
knocking down the price,
Yeah.
but you got so many, and even some of those figures do not make 100% sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's one where there's the Vanishing Hand, but they
Yeah.
gave it the Battle of the Bands audition figure.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make any sense. Marty loses his hand in 1955. They never gave us the 55 figure unless
Yeah.
they plan to do it at a later date and time. Who knows?
Yeah.
They still have to do Back to the Future 3 because they gave us Back to the Future 1 and 2, Doc and Marty's.
Yep.
I know a lot of people who are waiting for that, but I mean, like, the last Ronin figures, like, if they keep continuing on, I don't know if I'm going to go down that route. I mean, I love the last Ronin figure as it is. It looks
Mm-hmm.
intense.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that stands out. But, like, I don't know if I'm going to be, because, I mean, with the way figures are costing right now,
That's it.
it's a reevaluating. I know a lot of people who are just they're not going all in on lines.
No.
They're cherry picking, and we're going to see a lot more of that. And I hate to say it, I know a lot of people who are kind of stepping away from McFarlane.
Yeah.
People who are like cherry picking Marvel,
Yep.
because even Marvel's kind of being a little dry. I mean, right now the only thing that I'm really doing is GI Joes.
Mm-hmm.
I still got a bunch I need to open up, and I did actually pre-order the GI Joe Vamp, the Jeep,
Mm-hmm.
because for $99, that thing is a
That's a
no-brainer.
good deal.
You can
That's a good
take
deal.
the engine out. There's so many different accessories on there, and it just Classified is just killing it. And
Yeah.
it's a 6-inch figures vehicle.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with that. Um, and this week, Ghostbuster figures are popping out. The kitty version,
Right.
what I call like the age 6 to 12 figures. They've already sold out on Amazon
Yep.
because they were up on Amazon. People were posting it on Facebook today. They've already sold out. To me, they're calling them fright features, but to me, fright features is the old real Ghostbuster ones
Right.
with the eyes
The
popping
heads.
out. And
Yeah.
rumor
Yeah.
has it something's supposed to be happening with those, that
Yep.
we may be getting those sometime soon.
Mm-hmm.
There was the posting that Hasbro's supposed to have some kind of a live stream or some kind of
Yes.
a release, but on a Sunday night. I don't know how much I would trust that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sunday night at like 9 o'clock at night, that doesn't make sense.
I appreciate them trying something different though. If that is true.
Yeah. And the Ecto that they released does have a spoiler in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about the physical car itself. I'm talking about there's an item on there that is a little bit of a spoiler.
Yep.
But anyone who's seen pictures online already know what I'm talking about. But it's just a repaint of the earlier one they did with Afterlife. They just painted the red stripe on it. That's it.
Yep.
I'm waiting for the Plasma Series figures for Frozen Empire to come out. I've joked with my friends they're going to come out with some figures that just have the red jackets on them. I know it's going to happen.
Well, JB said he's already seen Ghostbusters in store, so
Yeah.
but
Those might be the what I call the kitty ones.
Yeah.
I had the full line of the previous ones,
Oh.
and I just got rid of them actually.
Oh wow.
Because one, I mean, I really am more of a 6-inch figure collector.
Mm.
I like the detail, the look of them.
I was
The
about
other
to
ones,
complain
they're
about that,
just
yeah.
hanging on the wall. They're kind of collecting dust, so I took them to a local toy shop here,
Mhm.
and I traded them in with a bunch of other stuff I still had, still in box.
Mhm.
And I had to be the Doctor Who nerd I am, and I got a 1/6 scale 10th Doctor David Tennant.
There you go. I mean,
They had it for 200, so I traded a bunch of stuff in that was still, because I mean, if you me, I'm not usually that in box person now, but I was hanging them up because I was like, well, maybe I'll do a giveaway or something.
Mhm.
I just said, you know what, let me just go and move them.
Yeah. No, that's the issue that we have. And that's, you saying that too, like that is why I'm not even collecting all the Last Ronin figures. Is I got to a point where one, I'm getting priced out of a lot of lines. I'm at a point where,
Yeah,
if I'm buying a figure, like it's got to be that nostalgia
I'm
bait, the thing I've always wanted that I never had.
I'm all I'm out of Black Series.
I'm out of Black Series
I'm
too.
out of Black
Yeah,
Series
yeah.
unless I come across open face Vader,
I saw it
cracked
and
helmet Vader.
I skipped it.
If
If that was on
if
sale for $1, to JB's point earlier, I would have
Yeah,
picked it up. But
okay.
I
I mean,
it's got to be a sale.
that's the only thing I would get because I would pair that with my Obi-Wan
Right,
figures.
right, right.
But aside from that, like the only thing Star Wars related I'm even doing right now is probably Legos.
Yeah.
That's the only thing Star Wars related, and there's rumblings that there might be another Ghostbuster Lego offering this year.
Mm.
So, because did you ever do the Ecto?
Not a Lego guy. Space.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
space. Like
fair
it's
enough. It's
space
not for
and
everyone.
pricing. Yeah. I mean, I would love to.
Legos are expensive, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless you go to like Temu or AliExpress and you get like the knockoff version,
Yeah.
which I am seriously thinking about doing the Firehouse once the job situation is resolved.
There you go. Love it.
Which fingers crossed might be next week, so we'll see.
There you go. We're pulling for you on that one for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
but yeah, I mean figures in general. Like I was talking to Dre, Collector Safe Space. We were looking at was it Big Bad Toy Store, and he was showing me some of like the Hiya Toys, the 3 3/4 scales,
Mm-hmm.
but like RoboCop and a few others in the details.
Mm.
blow vintage Star Wars vintage out of the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, some of the details, like I saw there was some RoboCop figures. They had even the RoboCop 2 Kane,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, I'm looking at $18, $16. I'm like, oh, that's the details there though. I'm like, they don't look like they're kind of smudgy looking. They actually look like they have real detail, weathering, and I'm like, it almost makes me want to kind of jump to that.
Yeah.
I think they might not have been 3 3/4. They might have been like a 4 inch or something like that. But I mean, the detail was there. I'm like, that's a little bit doable, more so than spending $30 on a figure which should only cost us $20. But
I mean, I got to the point where, and I said this on my vlog 2 years ago. I was like, I'm getting at that point. I was getting to the point. Now I'm at the point where I'm like, is this one figure worth a tank of gas? Because it's pretty damn
and that's going up too.
close. Yeah, it's pretty damn close. So, but hey, I appreciate you
Yeah.
jumping on, Dave. This was fun. To say this was long overdue is quite the understatement. So I'm hoping that this is not the last time that you jump on.
No,
the show.
I mean, I know you're you're a Ghostbuster now. You're full fledged. You have packs. You don't have a
All in.
pack. You have packs now.
Hacks.
So I mean, yeah, there's gonna be a lot more stuff coming through the pipeline. And oh, by the way, on behalf of the Buffalo Ghostbusters, thank you for
Yeah.
sporting our merch. And
I was about to pull. I don't know where it is.
you might be getting something from me soon.
I was actually about to tell you that too. So send me your address.
Because there's some new patches that we have out.
Well, I'm gonna do the lean over as well.
The blacked out for Frozen Empire.
Well, you're missing a patch on that.
Yes.
So there you go.
Yes, guys, I am a patch collector.
Love that.
You got to have Hook and Ladder 8.
Yep.
Right? The 35th
Oh, wait, hang on.
anniversary.
Let me switch to. Oh, I love that Back to the Future one.
Yeah, that one I got. There's a Pins and Patches group on Facebook. You can, and there's a lot of different ones. There's Ghost. I mean, you got different variations of Afterlife. People are putting like rivets and doing some weathering. There's a Lewis Tully one because there's a Ghostbusters marketplace on Facebook.
Oh.
You get the thermal mugs. Those were runs that the Buffalo Ghostbusters did for Hook and Ladder 8's annual Ghostbuster Day event. So be on the lookout. There's going to be more. I'm sure there's going to be some stuff coming out this year too. Because we got the sign with the little Band-Aid on the finger.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
And yes, there is a Supernatural patch.
Oh, yeah.
The blue one at the bottom there.
Blue with metal letters. Yeah. Love that.
But yeah, that's one thing I'm going to be looking forward to is one way or the other, I am going to be going to back for New York. It's our 4th year doing the annual event, and this is year 40. So I can't talk. I can't talk about details because I don't know details. But each year it gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah, this is gonna be huge.
We get some cooler and cooler guests, and with this being the 40th anniversary, I'm going to say all bets are off.
Yeah.
If anyone is expecting something to happen, you won't have any idea.
I almost want to buy a new vehicle just to make it a Ghostbuster vehicle so I can drive it down there.
Well, see, that's the thing. Usually, like last year, we did like kind of a light contest for people because it's a short street. Anthony can tell you that. It is a very short street right there. There is very limited space. And usually what they've done in past years is the firehouse will pull their fire truck out.
Right.
And it's parked right across the street. So then that takes up space. So you have limited space for just a handful of ectos to pull up.
Mm-hmm.
And then like last year, I think we had the Answer to Call Ecto and the Ecto 1 replica from Ectotech of New Jersey.
Yep.
And I wrote in that
For
to
Comic-Con.
Comic-Con, and that
Yeah.
was that was
That was
that
sick.
was a thrill. That was
That
a
was
thrill
sick.
and a half because
Yeah.
he's running the lights the entire time.
Yeah.
He's running the lights in the side. He ran the siren a little bit, and we even asked him like, "Don't you get pulled over by the cops?" He says, "Cops pull me over if I don't run the lights." So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to. I mean, it's the 40th anniversary,
Yeah.
and I mean, it. I'm sure Sony is probably going to do something on the West Coast. They did that for the 35th,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, where else would you rather be than it's a free event. We don't charge. There's no
Mm-hmm.
admissions.
Mm-hmm.
You come down, hang out with. I mean, last year there was people from Italy. There was people from South America.
Mm-hmm.
People all over the world come. And it's just a bunch of nerds.
Yeah.
Bunch of
Yeah.
nerds who happen to be Ghostbusters, hanging out and just having a good time. Last year there was a couple that got married.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And they somebody had made a couple RTVs, the remote control traps, and those were
Mm-hmm.
the ring bears.
Love that.
I mean, it's just a good time. We get we try to get a few people who've been a part of the movies each year, and I'm sure that's going to be something that happens this year too. But as to who they are, I am not in the know on that, and usually that stuff will be announced in due time. A lot of people have already been messaging for more information. I mean, we just did the announcement that it's still going to be this year, and it's going to be the 8th, so the actual day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be a good time, and I think if you're gonna come down, why not do it the 40th?
Yeah.
And plus with the buzz of, I mean, we have Frozen Empire, and I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of yellow bumpers everywhere.
Yep.
I want to do the bumper, but I don't want it to be yellow. I want to do something a little different. I want to kind of do a different color to stand out.
I hate you said that. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'm debating the same thing actually. Like
Okay,
as I'm doing my new pack that's over there.
your one-to-one
the-
scale of spirit.
yeah, that's conversation for another time. But dude, appreciate it. Oh,
Yep.
good.
No, I was gonna say a buddy of mine already 3D printed one. He had to print it in 3 different parts, and then the time to sand it and to basically fuse it together. Yeah, it's unless you know someone who's 3D printing and they'll do that up for you, you're gonna have a lot of sanding to do.
Yeah, and I don't have time for that.
Which I'm trying to get my 3D printer running so I can print some stuff.
I thought that's what that was behind you.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
I had the print. It's kind of clogging up right now, so I have to try and see what's going on with it so I can print some extra components for my pack.
There you go.
But
And I need more pack videos from you, by the way. I'm it's been dry in the pack YouTube
well,
space.
I need to make a playlist of what I did with my Ben and Kent, but then because my pack, there's still a few more things. I mean, I have my power supply inside the pack, so I just open up the door and I have a charging port.
Right.
So no more changing batteries.
Right.
Because D batteries are not cheap either.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've even some of the like the grommets that are usually like brass or copper color.
Mhm.
I painted those.
Mhm.
At least until if I do decide to get real ones.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's gonna be some more stuff with the pack. But I mean, assuming things are good, I'm going to be moving forward with the computer build. And once I have that, I'll be able to do a lot more stuff
There you go.
because this computer, it shuts off sometimes on its own.
Well,
It's a 10-year-old computer. What do you expect?
well, that was the part I was going to say to plug your shit. You already plugged some programs, so before I even hit the music for you to plug where people can find you, shout out to Millennium Workshop. He's telling you hit him up for your 3D printing needs, questions, etc. And also,
He's
great.
he's a 3D printing master right there.
He's a machine. He's a machine. And also, of course,
I'm convinced that he stands in his sleep.
for yeah, yeah, makes sense. I believe it. Shout out to Millennium Workshop. Shout out to Franken Geek, and shout out to Great Scott Prop Shop. But sir,
Yeah, his shop on Etsy and his YouTube channel are amazing.
immaculate,
Great Scott.
immaculate. As I say every week, anytime there's a guest on the show, Dave, plug yo shits.
Okay. Anyone can find me on Instagram at Dave's Dave's _Dementia on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter at Dimension Daves. You can find me on YouTube at Dave's Dimension. And please don't forget the Outer Dimensions podcast channel on YouTube, where me and Dre of the Collector's Safe Space every Wednesday we do a live stream of us discussing movies. We're going to, since this is 2024, we're going to be talking about our top 5 fan favorite films of 2023, because our last episode 2023 was the top 5 movies we're looking forward to. And you can also look us up on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts from to catch previous episodes.
There you go.
Oh, and please don't forget to check out the Buffalo Ghostbusters on Facebook
And Instagram.
and Twitter. We're everywhere.
There you go.
You can actually just go to thebuffaloghostbusters.com and actually route you to our Facebook page immediately. We have a TeePublic page, and we do events all over New York State, literally. We do, everything we do, every dollar, every nickel, every cent, every dime we gather is for Toys for Tots. That's our main charity, but we also do other charities throughout the year. And speaking of charities, Ride for Roswell is happening again this year. I will be doing a stream for The Cure. We're aiming for May. I'm not sure what form the stream is going to take or shape this year, but if anyone wants to be involved, and when I say involved, I mean anyone who wants to help organize activities or ideas or helping to promote it, you can just message me either at Instagram or email me directly at davesdimension78@gmail.com. Normally I scroll away figures and prizes to give away. We're not in that position this year, so we're going to try some different approaches this year. Last year I did ride the 44-mile ride last year, so we're hoping to raise some more money. I'm not sure which route we're going to do this year, but you can expect a lot more riding videos and help support Stream for the Cure, which helps benefit cancer research.
Love that. As
is that enough to plug?
I don't say this very often, but I will say it for you, and I say it for a very select few. Dave is one of the good guys. So check out Dave Dimension on everything he mentioned, all the platforms. I almost corrected you on your own Instagram. I was going to say you forgot the underscore, but he said it there. So check out Dave there. Check out the Buffalo Ghostbusters. And, of course, check out the Ride for the Cure. But with that, another episode is in the books. Sadly, I will say the unboxing didn't happen. You guys talked me out of it. You succeeded, and I will wait. I'll keep this Murph in the box for another day. But hey, we still got my figure of the year last year for some odd reason. And we have the new, as you guys called out there.
Which one? Because technically you won Luke last year.
Ooh, good point. No, Daredevil, Murdoch. I love this figure, and I don't know why. But hey, we all have our issues. We all have our problems. Some people like Man of Steel. Some people like their live-action Kevin Spacey figures. HeyArcher Live every Thursday, 8:15-ish p.m. here on Nerd Affiliated. Nerdy Coffee every Monday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll talk to all you nerds in the next video. Peace. As they would say, Dave, keep on bustin'.
Catch you on the flip side.
Oh, wrong button.
What? Huh? More specifically vodka. More specifically vodka. More specifically vodka. Whiskey. Beer. Tequila. More beer. More vodka. More whiskey. And more beer. What? Huh? More specifically, vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
Yeah, come on, push your button. Push the goddamn button.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.